So one question I've gotten a lot is about rhythm changes, which comes up probably in all jazz guitar lessons and jazz lessons in general. But I thought the best way for me to address this would be to break down a video that I posted a while back of me playing the Thelonious Monk classic Rhythmic, which is a rhythm changes. So it should be fun, and thanks for checking it out. Basically playing the chords right there and trying to provide a strong feel, some kind of a groove. Just regular stuff. Just regular jazz guitar voicings, nothing fancy or modern or anything really. Just trying to, as a solo guitarist, trying to make it happen. The kind of stuff I might play if I was comping. I mean, that might be a little bit aggressive for many comping situations, but it really depends. And then I just kicked into some lines, once again, pretty traditional lines. Like I think I started with those kind of lines, with which I tend to think of as B flat with some chromaticism to the 5 chord, F7. So you got a lot of For the next section, I also played some lines, which is the 2/5 to the 4 chord. I just played some very similar traditional material, like 2/5/1 stuff, like stuff like that. The rhythm changes bridge is a cycle of dominant 7th chords, D7, G7, C7, F7. And I was just playing some standard dominant material using chromaticism, like for instance, stuff like that, which I've just gotten from transcribing. I mean, I guess you could think of it as like similar to bebop scale stuff or 2/5 lines, but and then the other thing I was doing was a lick that I do a lot, certainly, and it's really just mixing triads. I guess you'd think of it as triad pairs, is the term people use a lot. And I'm just doing tritones, like stuff like this for the D7, G7, C7, and so on. You know, just sort of taking for D would be D and A flat, G7 would be G and D flat, and so forth from there. Back into the A sections again, and I'm playing a lot of I start off with just a this kind of a chord, a sharp 9. So instead of thinking of a 1/6-2/5, I'm thinking of a more bluesy sound or a sharp 9 sound, however you want to call it. just toggling between the 1 and the 5, playing some other standard jazz voicings in there also, and some more of the same kind of traditional jazz lines that I played earlier. On the second A section in this part of the tune, I believe I start getting into a pretty typical thing, which is to abandon the standard chord changes and just, which would be like 1, 6, 2, 5, that whole part, and just do a 1 chord. Make it a bluesy sharp 9 chord. That kind of a sound. And I start playing, shocker, as I said, I like to do this a lot, more of those triad pair lines. The B flat, in this case, over this chord, I just use B flat and E. So that's just a pattern type of a thing that I have obviously practiced some, and it kind of comes out in my playing. Nothing fancy or anything. It's just a type of a line. I like the way it sounds against that chord, and that's what I did. Bridge, where I just play some more traditional jazz voicings over the cycle of dominance. So stuff like, just kind of moving them around with some different. I don't know why I just did that. Thinking of a jazz piano player. Moving them around in different rhythms, trying to keep the groove going, trying to keep the rhythm strong, and then just really back into some more traditional vocabulary. About halfway through, I think I just went back to like. Just stuff like that. Next A section, I play a very standard set of chord substitutions that you hear all the time, where instead of starting on B flat, you backcycle or start at F sharp to get you back to the 1 chord. So F sharp, B7, E7, A7, D7, G7, C7, F7, and then back to B flat. Playing a bunch of lines that imply those changes, and I'm using a lot of 1, 2, 3, 5 shapes, like in the key in C it would be C, D, E, G, and sometimes I'm using 5, 6. 1, 6, 5, 3. So a lot of stuff from this pentatonic pattern. Coltrane did that kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of people have done that kind of stuff. And it's a nice way to move through fast chord changes. So I think I was playing it up in this part of the neck, like. Something like that. Sections in the bridge, I play a lot of the same material, typical jazz lines, typical jazz chords, some bass lines. I do play some blues licks, which is good to do on rhythm changes, like stuff like that. Some repeating licks like that you hear like organ players do, or guitarists for sure. And then I do one thing that I'll mention that um, you hear a lot of old school players, swing players, more traditional jazz players, and you probably hear everybody do this kind of thing. I don't know why I'm grouping it in that way, but it's a sound I really love. And, I don't know what you call it exactly. Theoretically, I've heard it referred to as the minor six pentatonic scale in terms of a scale. That sounds extremely academic to me for something that is just like a sound we've all heard so much that is, I don't know that, or I question whether or not many of the people who kind of used this sound so effectively thought of it that way, but who knows? Anyway, it's these notes basically, which we've all played on the guitar. Those notes basically, which you could think of in many ways, but if you really exploit them, it does end up being this. In fact, I play it in this position in the solo. And in that way, it feels a little bit minor six pentatonic in that it's like a shape that kind of fits on the guitar. I just love the way it sounds over rhythm changes, over like that kind of a tonality that it's like a little bit bluesy because it has the minor third and the major sixth in it. But, I sort of learned it from listening to a bunch of recordings and just sort of hearing those kind of lines played over and over again. And that's it. So thanks a lot for checking out the video and hope it was useful. Stay safe, everybody. I'm offering jazz guitar coaching on my website, jazzguitarcoach.com. I also do regular lessons. The coaching program is pretty cool and I've really been enjoying it. So you can read about it on my website and hit me up with an email and we can get the conversation started. But that was fun. Thanks. Y'all have a good one.